So we've talked a little about importing data into Python. We've mostly talked about it from the point of view of project management. Again, the assumption is that you've taken some principles of Python course already, but we talked about it in terms of file structure, and now we'll talk about outputting and saving data, again, largely in terms of project management and file structure. So let's go to Python and let's read in some data. And we're still in the college algebra grade analysis project. So this is a spreadsheet of student grades. And to start with, I'll just read it in. Let me see. Of course, I have to run it properly. Um, And before we do anything, really, we immediately see a problem here, which is that we go up here and we look at the column names, and none of these make sense. And if we go and look at our data, so we're importing the raw data. We haven't cleaned it or touched it yet. And we can see right away, I mean, there are ways to look at this in Python, but I just open the file. We can see that there are no column names. These are student IDs. This is a homework score. This is a homework score. This is a test score, but that data is nowhere in the Excel document. And of course, I could just fix this here, but I don't want to. In fact, I probably shouldn't even have raised the suggestion, because again, we do not want to change the raw data. The idea here is that, a decade from now, somebody else can come in and take the same data we are working with and get the same results. And if we change the raw data, that will not be true. So we definitely don't want to do that. Let's fix this in Python. And when we fix it in Python, we'll generate a new file. And that file will go into the processed folder. So we'll redo the import, and this time we'll tell pandas that the first row does not store headers. And pandas will now give its own name to these columns, but not very descriptive names, 0, 1, 2, and 3. Let's change that. Student ID, homework 1, homework 2, test 1. All right, so we have now given um, this data frame appropriate column names, as we can see up here in spiders. Let's do a little more data cleaning. So it's very common in grade books to have blank entries when students just turn in an assignment and you are waiting for them to do it, but they never do. Let's find any blank entries in this grade book. So we find blank cells via this. We do some masking, and then we print our results. And we find that there are indeed some blank entries here. Now that we've established there are blank entries, we need to decide what to do with them, and I've elected to set them all to 0. So now if we repeat the finding the blank entry steps, you see we don't get anything because we removed the blank entries. We set them to 0. So that's a little data cleaning that we have done. So as for changing the data, we have to keep track of the changes we're making. That's data provenance. And we'll talk more about, proper change logs and readmes when we're talking about GitHub. But for now, you see I have gone to the README and I have recorded. We've decided to change the blank entries to 0. But as of now, we haven't generated anything. We have a script. The script is doing some cleaning, but we haven't generated a new data file yet. So now let's take what we have and let's save it. So I'm going to do this entirely in Python. I've said that our data should have a folder for raw data and a folder for processed data. I've erased the folder for processed data. And I've imported OS. And you see with OS, we can create the folder in Python. Let's see, that is not what I wanted to get to. Data, here we go. We can see it now. So now I'll save this. And again, you see I'm not overwriting my raw data. I'm saving this to a new directory. And I believe I'm about to get an error message. I certainly am. So I ran this script. I created this folder. Now I'm trying to create the folder a second time. OS does not like that. I can fix that, and now I can run it. And now I can go into process, and if all went well, here it is, and I can open grades clean, and I can see that I have these headers now, and I can see that the blank entries have been replaced with zeros. And again, the major point here, I mean, the data cleaning's nice, but we'll talk about data cleaning more in its own unit. The really important thing is that I am not overwriting my raw data. And this data, this grades underscore clean, this is disposable because I have the script that created it. Let me save as. This is no longer computing summary statistics. Data cleaning script. I mean, this ideally would be done doing functions, probably. We'll talk about functions later. But the point is that I have this script, and the script does the data cleaning for me. And if the new CVS that I just created gets deleted, or if I accidentally overwrite it, that's no problem at all. I just rerun the script, I recreate it. If my raw data gets overridden, that's a serious problem from a data provenance point of view. So we want to bear this in mind and we want to be cautious about these things.